evening, everyone. I am excited and delighted to be here. I was just chatting with one of my producers who has me rolling with references to 70s, 80s, 90s music. He definitely is a DJ at heart and probably was an amazing DJ in his day. Actually, I'm thinking I have to have a conversation with him about that. I would introduce myself, but I think they said my name 30 times. In case you didn't hear it, it is Halley Elise. And I truly am delighted and excited to be here this evening with you. Last week was my first week with A1R, and we had some weird glitches. Now, usually I have some glitches simply because that's me. Technology and I are friends, and I can be quite savvy at times. However, things go awry sometimes. We had the blackout. Well, actually, not a blackout, not even a brownout. We had an eclipse. And I know everyone is familiar with that. It's pretty wild in respect to all the things that were said beforehand, all the things that were being said during, and here we are after. And I have to tell you, people that are highly sensitive were more inclined to have some sort of impact. I can say for myself, the day before, I had some anxiety. And it's really interesting because I'm one of these people that does not get anxious. I think I've been anxious, actually. I can tell you exactly. I've been anxious one time in my entire life where I actually felt anxiety. And it's fascinating to me because in my head, I always thought, well, if you have anxiety, we can go ahead and work with that. We can take deep breaths. We can work with certain tools. There's always a way to manage it. And I still believe that. However, personally experiencing it, wow, that's pretty wild. And feeling that just before the eclipse, the day before, that kind of threw me a little bit because it's not familiar to me. However, the things that I just mentioned, I did. I went ahead and I took deep breaths and I meditated and I got quiet and I communed with nature and I felt better. And then the day of the eclipse, it was as if someone said, sleep. Have you ever heard of the fairy tale where a child is born and she's supposed to stay away from the room where they sew? And there's a spinning wheel with a needle. She touches the needle, and next thing you know, she's out cold. And that's because the spell was cast upon her. That's how I felt during the eclipse. I was out cold for 2 hours, and I'm not exaggerating. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on that. And so if you don't have an opportunity to call in while we're on air, be sure to leave some messages, and I definitely will get back to you. In the meantime, I believe we have Melissa from Winnipeg. Is that correct?
Yes.
Hello. Okay. Hi. How
Hello.
are you?
I'm good, thanks. And you?
I'm well, thank you. Did you have a specific question that you wanted to address, or would you like me to just kind of give you what pops in, or both?
How about just what pops in?
Okay. It's interesting because I was just speaking about anxiety, and I won't say that you are specifically an anxious person, but I do get the sense that you often worry. And the best way for me to express this is not to say that you are a worrywart. However, I will simply say that you like to be prepared and you don't like to not know what's going to be happening. So, for instance, if someone says to you, oh, tomorrow we're going to head out on a cruise, you need to know, where is the cruise going? Is it a safe cruise? Is the captain skilled? Those things are important. That said,
Yes.
in life right now, it feels, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry. I just was
No, no
confirming, yes.
worries. Oh, okay. The overall feeling is right now, specifically, there is more of that in your life, more of that concern, more of that worry. And I was just mentioning, like I said a moment ago, about using certain tools that you can use to create a little more peace in your life. Perhaps in the morning before you do anything, before you even get out of bed, You simply take some deep breaths. And when I say deep breaths, I don't mean the same type of breath that when we're speaking. I mean the breath that goes like this. You go. You take the breath through the nose, down the throat, into the chest, down into the stomach, into the abdomen. And you really fill yourself with that. And the reason I suggest this is because it actually creates peace. When you oxygenate like that, your cells wake up, they feel happier, more comfortable. Even more importantly, the breath is prana. It is that gift from the divine. It is that light that we have within us that is a big part of us. You cannot be taking a deep breath and enjoying that moment and be worrying about the same things at the same time. Something to consider. And I would even suggest if you're open to it, not just first thing in the morning, but create a little habit for yourself so that you can do this throughout your day, several times a day. If you find that you're feeling overwhelmed, if you find that just that normal predisposition to ask a million questions because you're feeling uncomfortable, stop for just a moment and breathe. I mean, think about it. You can breathe at any point, at any time of the day. It's something that's with you. And it's something that's easy to do. And what I would recommend truly is at least 5 breaths, not 10 minutes, not an hour. You could do that. Just though to take the edge off and to start feeling as if you're more in control of your world, literally breathe. Okay, that was the first
Yeah.
thing that popped. And I will say too, I feel as if a lot is going on in respect to relationships, not just relationship, but relationships, interpersonal relationships in your life. And I feel like that's part of also where this worry is coming from. You agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Breathe. That's the first thing. Second thing is literally ask yourself, do I know this to be true? And the reason I'm asking you to do that for yourself is because the overall impression is your mind is going like round and round and round and round about all the possible things that could happen. The only problem with that is the possible things that could happen that your mind is focused on aren't all the wonderful good things that could happen. Really
Mhm.
give some thought to, do I know this to be true? Because you're actually quite intuitive for friends. You're intuitive when it comes to, especially animals. I feel like you have these wonderful instincts and knowing when it comes to animals, and you were able to relate very easily. If you start to apply that to yourself, you will find that you have all the answers you need. It's just shifting slightly. It's creating an embodiment of good versus an embodiment of worry. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, back to relationships. We sometimes, without realizing, create expectations about the people in our lives. Actually, most of the time we do that, unless we're really cognizant about what's going on. We do, right?
Yeah.
Take a moment and again use that sentence that I mentioned earlier. Do I know this to be true? When your head goes to, he should already know this because how long have we been together? Or how many conversations have we had? Or how many times have I told him? Take the expectation out of it and ask yourself, do I know this to be true? And it goes to, do I know this to be true that this is something he should be aware of, that he should know? Because the feeling here is you're dealing with people that are bright, and yet, like you, their mind is going a mile a minute constantly. It's very difficult for somebody like that to be able to just go, okay, I got it. I'm paying all this attention to the person who's in the room with me. I've heard everything they say and I'm retaining it. It's more like I heard what they said and I'm going to remember it, and then they forget.
Yeah.
Do yourself a favor, really and truly. Remind them, but with a heart. Remind them with ease. Remind them with a little sensitivity, not to take anything away from you, to add to you. If you can be a little more gentle with eliminating those expectations and qualifying what your needs are a little bit better, you're going to find overall you are happier. Now,
Okay.
based on what we said, is there something specific that you want to address?
Um, I'm not sure. Do you do like mediumship or
Mediumship, I'm afraid I don't do. I don't speak to the other side.
you don't do
I'm
that
so
one?
busy as it is. It's too much to talk to the other side.
Okay.
I will
No,
say
that
that
makes sense.
excuse me?
No, that's good. No, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. It's funny because when I was a little girl, I heard a lot of voices, and it was this cacophony of sound in my ears. And I kept saying, no, 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 please stop, please stop. I mean, every day it was constant. And at some point it just stopped. And I thought, oh, thank you. The irony, when I was about 16, I went to this wonderful class about awakening your abilities. And I thought, oh, that would be cool. Let's go see what that's about. And one of the things they talked about was clairaudience, which is hearing the divine, hearing the other side, hearing your angels, hearing your guides. And I thought, oh, is that what that was? But I never quite paid attention to it. I do, though, on occasion, when I'm sitting with someone, get a sense of a loved one. So, for instance, somebody could say something like, I miss my mom, and I get a sense of who they were, or I get a little message. However, I'm not a medium who says, oh, I see them and their silhouette, and this is what they look like. That's really not my thing. I want to go back to what I
Okay.
said just one moment ago, which is you're very intuitive and you can actually speak to your loved ones by getting quiet, taking a moment and envisioning walking somewhere in nature and going down a beautiful path, knowing that when you get to the edge of the path or the end of the path, there's going to be a bench or somewhere to sit where you will meet your loved one and you can communicate with them. It takes a little bit of practice, but I believe you can do it because, again, I keep picking up that you have intuition. You just need to apply it to yourself. All right, my friend?
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks
Thank
for
you so
calling.
much.
My pleasure. We have another caller, Liz, and I apologize. It flashed through the screen or on the screen, and I didn't catch where you were from. Ah, Wisconsin. Yay. Okay. We're in the
Yeah,
U.S.
Appleton.
How are
Appleton,
you?
Wisconsin. Yes, ma'am.
Were you looking for a specific answer to something, or do you want me to just share what comes through?
Yeah, just share what comes through, please.
Okay. I hear money, 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 money.
Ain't that the truth? Really?
That's an area that really you are attentive to in this moment. And it's more that uncomfortable feeling. And I don't want to say that you have zero because that's not the case. However, I get the sense of concern and wanting things to shift. We're in, what are we in? We're in May? No, we are in April. Wow. Okay, I'm skipping a month. So April, so May.
Right.
I will say by mid-May, going into third week of May, you should start to see a nice little change in respect to finances. However, your actual cycle, and when I say cycle, this has nothing to do with astrology, it has to do with you personally. There's starting in May, but going into, I'll say, by the 8th of June. I don't know why that's specifically, but I'm hearing 8th of June. By 8th of June, you open a door to a different cycle, which has to do with things coming easier when it comes to finances, things coming easier in respect to overall abundance, things showing up that you didn't expect. Think of it as your good luck period. So again, thinking June 8th is kind of the onset of that. And I'm getting June, July, going into probably the first week of August. So June 8th through, I'd say about August 5th, from what I'm sensing. This is your money time. This is a time to make magic happen. If you need to get that new car, this is the time to get it because you'll get it at the best price. If you are considering selling your property, this is the time to do it. If you want to switch careers, again, the time to do it. Bottom line, if you can hold on a bit, you're going to be pleasantly surprised with how things start to turn. The onset is next
Okay.
month, but the cycle
Okay.
itself begins in June.
Okay. That sounds perfect.
Okay.
All
The other
right. You hit the nail on the head.
thank you. Thank you. The other part of this, though, and I'm going to just put this out there, it's always up to you if you accept what I'm going to say or not. But I would really strongly suggest sitting down and thinking about, actually write it down. What are your expenditures? Write it all down, whether it's 2,000 a month, 4,000, 8,000, 3,000, it doesn't matter. And then look at those things and ask yourself, how much more would you like to make? So let's use $2,000 as just an arbitrary number, right? Let's say your expenses every month are $2,000 and you've been making 1,900, and that creates problems because you're really not relaxing. You're taking care of things, but it creates a little bit of anxiety, right? Funny, anxiety
Right. Right.
comes up twice tonight. All
Right.
right. Look at that number, recognize that's what's needed, not wanted, but needed. And then decide what's the number that you want. And I will say be realistic. And what I mean by that is you can say, okay, I'm making 1,900 and what I want to make is 15,000 a month. And that could be something to
Okay.
work towards. However, if you say that, your mind is really not going to believe it because your subconscious mind is going, no, no, we barely are making that 19. What are you asking for? And there's a contradiction. Instead, look at it in respect to being reasonable. What I mean by being reasonable is if your goal is 2 grand to just take care of your needs and you're making 19, it's uncomfortable. And yet you're still managing. What is it that would actually make you comfortable? Find a number. Perhaps it's 2,400 a month or 2,500 a month. And then sit down and write down what you would do with that additional money. If you
Okay.
can, do this before June 8th, because I feel like
Okay.
you'll kind of get your mind into the condition where you start focusing on what you're expecting and what you're looking forward to versus what you feel that you're trying to fix.
Right. Right. That makes total sense.
Because
Does
I get the
really.
sense that so much of your time, honey, is on how am I managing? That's
Yeah.
hard. And
Yes.
it makes you feel bad. I mean, really, nobody wants to sit and feel like, oh my gosh, no matter what I do, I'm juggling because you feel like you're not empowered. And it's not fair.
Yes. Yes. Most definitely.
Take a look then, seriously, write it down. And the reason I say write is because it comes from the divine through you, through your heart, into your hand, and you actually put it on paper where you have something solid to connect with. It's not just airy fairy in your head, it's number, it's a feeling, it's a vibration that you start to put out into the world. And again, it creates a stronger focus for what you desire versus what you're trying to manage. And I'm not suggesting that you don't continue to manage. Of course, that's important. You have to take care of things. You know, eating is good, electric is good, all that fun stuff. However, you should also be honoring you, which means doing some nice things for you on that paper. In addition to writing down what you would do with extra, ask yourself, what can I play with now? And maybe it's $1. And even if it's only $1, when's the last time you chewed bubble gum and blew a bubble?
Right. Exactly.
When's,
Long time
when's the
ago.
last time? Right? A long time, a couple of years.
Yes.
But the idea is do something for you that lifts your spirit so that you're feeling, even if you're only spending a small amount, you're not feeling as if, oh my gosh, I'm jeopardizing myself more.
Okay.
Do that
Okay.
until you start to see this additional money coming in that we're talking about. And again, I'm going to remind you, anything that you want to sell, this is the right period of time to do it. This is,
Okay.
starting from again, June 8th. It's the right time.
Okay.
Don't second guess yourself.
Just wait.
Really pay
Okay.
attention to what it is that you'd like to get. And again, why? Ask yourself, Is it something that's going to make you happy? Are you doing it because you have to, or are you doing it
Or
because it's
because
going
I
to bring you
want.
joy?
Right, right.
Makes
Okay.
sense, right?
Most definitely. Yes. Thank you so very much.
Oh, you're so welcome. Keep in
You
mind
have
too that you've got more power than you've given yourself credit for.
okay. Thank you.
Truly.
Makes sense.
And I'm not saying
Yes,
that just to
that's the
say
truth.
saying it because I feel it. I feel like when it comes to other people, you stand up for them. You stand.
And
It's
not
like
for
you
myself.
are. You're the one who says, "All right, get out of the way. You're bothering my friend, or you're hurting somebody I care about." Right?
Yep, you're right.
Now, you're not defending you enough, honey. And I'm not
Okay.
suggesting you go to fisticuffs where you actually have to hit somebody. I do believe, though, you should allow your power to come up more, not in a
okay.
hard way,
Okay.
not in a nasty way, just listening
Just
to
in
that
a
strength.
polite.
That say that one more time,
Okay.
hon.
Just in a politeful way. I get it totally. Because you're absolutely
Okay,
right.
okay, good. So you have talents, you have skills, you have power, you have intuition. Grab a hold of all those things and use them. They are there to serve you.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Did you have any other questions, hon?
No, no, you hit the nail on the head. Like I said, that describes me
Okay.
to a T in the
Okay.
situation.
Awesome. Well, remember to get to writing.
Yes, I'm doing that as soon as we get off the phone. Thank you again so much.
You are so
Blessings.
welcome. Thank you for calling in. Bless you too. I love that. I love when I get to share information with someone that is not just about what's coming, it is also about how you can make a difference in your own world. Too often we are in, I'm going to call it a limited structure. We have a house that we live in, and we see that as the environment that we live in, and perhaps we look at it as, well, that's what we can do, that's what we can afford, or that's all we deserve. And when we have a certain mentality, it's very difficult to step beyond. We can look at our neighbor and go, wow, their house is 3 times as big, and it would be really nice to live in a house like that. Oh, but that's not going to work for me. The truth is, anything that pops into your head, it's a thought that you think. It is a consequence of your environments. Is it a consequence of your soul? Or it is a consequence of what you're supposed to do? Meaning, random thoughts aren't really random thoughts. And I'll give you a real funny. I'm not sure if I shared this last week or not, but if I did, it's okay to share again because I just find it a hoot and you might enjoy it. I had a client sitting with me, and no joke, as soon as she sat down, I heard the words peanut butter. I'm thinking, peanut butter? Why am I hearing peanut butter? I am not going to tell her peanut butter. And in my head, as I'm giving her a reading and I'm talking with her, I'm also speaking to my higher power, to the divine, the cosmos, saying, yeah, peanut butter, I'm not sharing this. And I'm hearing peanut butter, peanut butter, peanut butter, as if there's this booming voice inside of my head going, peanut butter. And as I'm hearing peanut butter, I'm also seeing and flashing lights in my head towards peanut butter, neon lights flashing. And I'm thinking as if I have 3 minds at this point. I'm having this conversation with the client, giving them intuitive guidance. I'm hearing the word peanut butter, and I'm telling the universe, are you kidding me? At the same time, I have these lights flashing, peanut butter. We get finished with the reading. I say to her, I'd like to tell you something if I may. She says, sure. What does the word peanut butter mean to you? Or do you know what it means? She starts laughing hysterically, so much so she almost falls out of her chair. I'm thinking, okay, she definitely knows what peanut butter means. And she says to me, do you want to know what it is? Yes. Do you feel like sharing? Yes. Well, we have a couple of kids. Peanut butter is our code. Thinking for a moment, code? She says, to go in the bedroom. And we haven't had very much peanut butter in a while. Funny, yes? All right. What I said before, as far as those random thoughts that pop in, they're not random. They come from somewhere. And oftentimes, a random thought is actually an intuitive message. Next time you're out somewhere and you're having a conversation, you're engaged in what's going on, and for some reason, something really funny pops in. Maybe it's, I don't know, a hot dog taking a walk down a beach. That would be really random, right? Ask yourself, what does hot dog represent to me? Ask yourself, what does walking down the beach represent to me? And then ask yourself, is there something that I need to do with this in this moment? You might just surprise yourself. I hope you enjoyed this evening. I'm having a ball. I do want to let you know how to contact me. Of course, here in the world of Facebook and on all other social media, just look for Halley Elise. You can reach me via my website, which is halleyelise.com. That's HalleyElise.com. You're welcome to call the office, and that's 561-755-2166. Once again, that's 561-755-2166. I mentioned social media. I'm kind of all over the place. If you forget, though, feel free to just Google for, what's the other one? I know there's a new one that doesn't track you when you're online, whatever that one is. And then there's Bing and there's Yahoo. You'll find me there. I've been around for a while, at least a good 45 years. And then some. Otherwise, I'll have to tell you my whole age, right? Thank you again for tuning in this evening. I am Halley Elise. I really, truly hope you had a lovely time joining me. And if you were tuning in for the very first time, keep in mind I've been on the air on and off for over 20 years. And I really enjoy it. And I really enjoy you calling in. If you're waiting to find out, should I call or not? Do. Give us a call next week. And I look forward to connecting with all of you. I wish you a beautiful, blessed night. And I will say it one more time, HalleyElise.com. You can find out more information about me. There's some photos there with some people you might know. Thank you.